Hi, this is Tim Krolsky. You've gotten to know some of Garner's folks personally through my podcast. Now it's time for you to hear about the ever-changing things happening in the trucking industry. From regulations to technology to customers and the daily life of a trucker, it's time to hear from the folks on the road and the people off the road who provide support. What will your perspective be? Will you agree with the thoughts of others? Find out when you come with me on Garner Trucking's Beyond the Cab. Hello and welcome to Garner Trucking's Beyond the Cab. I'm your host, Tim Krolsky, and today I am especially honored to have our brand new safety director, Mark Hoisington, with us. He lives here in Findlay, Ohio, and just started at the beginning of May 2021. And we want to talk a little bit today, get to know you a little bit, Mark, but first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me and taking some time. I know there's a learning curve with any new job, even if you've done the job in the past. When you get to a different company, that can change some things, and kind of the thought process that you had at one location might be a little different at another, and certainly culture and getting to know the people and the technology, it all becomes a challenge. So I appreciate you interrupting your day to sit down and talk with me a little bit. So, Mark, let's start. I like to just kind of get a little bit of history. Originally from Findlay, Ohio?
Originally from Toledo, Ohio.
From Toledo, okay. And what'd you do for schooling? Grade school, high school?
Grade school, I spent most of my life out in Swanton, Ohio, a little town west of Toledo. As I got older into junior high and high school, I went to Emmanuel Baptist out of Toledo, Ohio. And then when I graduated, I had several jobs until I decided to become a truck driver, where I spent about 8-9 years. And that kind of started me off in the transportation industry. So,
okay. Any extracurricular hobbies in high school?
I enjoy music a lot. I was in choir. I was in a traveling choir. I played chess. I played on the high school basketball and baseball teams. Wasn't quite as good in baseball, but I really enjoyed basketball, and I played a lot of softball once I got out of high school too. So.
I was going to say, I thought you had mentioned something to me about softball. Something you still enjoy today, or?
I do. My body doesn't quite allow me to do quite what I want to do, but I still enjoy getting involved, and I played on several travel teams, clear down to co-ed teams and church teams, so I was really involved. But once in a while, I still go out with some of my kids. I have 6 children,
okay.
So 2 grandchildren, so I go out to the park once in a while, and we hit it around. We can field our own team, so it's kind of fun still.
That's a good way to kind of plan for the future, is make sure you've got a full team. What was your first paying job then?
First paying job, I actually was a paper boy after school, and then I took a job in the restaurant as a dish cleaner. I'd go around and clear off the tables and do the dishes and things like that. Actually, in a buffet restaurant. So
okay.
So that's where I started.
Nice. I did the whole paper boy thing too for a little while. It's good gig. Just starting out, you can be pretty young and make a little cash. So you did mention that you started your career in trucking behind the wheel of the truck. What was that like?
Well, I was very interested, and it was really funny because when I first started out, I wouldn't be what you say was very good or one of those superstar drivers, but I tried really hard to be good. And I started out with a company called Falcon Transport. And matter of fact, when I first took my driving test, I failed my backing test the first time, but ended up doing very well. Drove for them for about 8 years, and eventually became a trainer, and actually a trainer for a trucking company, one of their lead instructors. So I became very good at backing and all the other things, but I really enjoyed teaching others what I did. So that kind of got me going forward.
Yeah. So the driving portion of things, a lot of over the road, or?
I did about 2 years what you would call dedicated.
Okay.
And then I did a little bit of regional. I did about 3.5 years team driving between Detroit and Laredo, Texas. So got a lot of miles on the road.
Long haul.
Probably have over 1 million safe miles.
How was the team experience?
Kind of funny. Started out with my first one with a best friend, and it's true. You're best friends when you first start out, and we parted ways after about 6 weeks. It wasn't for him. But I ended up meeting a gentleman who was a little bit older than me, who was kind of a mentor for me, and and it went great. I mean, he taught me the road. He taught me how to handle things, and if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be as successful as I am today. But I happened to just get the right person who took me under their wing and taught me a great deal about the industry and truck driving. So
that's awesome. But from there, then you decided to kind of spark up a career in safety and kind of take a look at the world from the inside instead of outside or through the windshield.
Well, what happened was I have 6 children, 4 stepkids and 2 of my own, and we had a combined family. We combined about 13 years ago, and I didn't want to always be gone. And so I actually put myself through my bachelor's degree in management at Bowling Green State University in the back of my truck.
Okay.
So when I graduated, I got an opportunity to go out to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. They hired me, moved my family out there, and I became lead instructor for CRST Transportation, great big company. Many people have seen the big gold trucks. But they had a company called North American Drivers Training Academy, and they took me under their wings, and I'm still, matter of fact, talk to some of the people today, but they gave me a shot to train others, and I became the lead instructor there for about 2 years in their school. So, and I just enjoy teaching others and getting to know drivers and giving them a little bit of the head start that I was given.
Right, right. And that's kind of what slotted you in then to safety, sounds like.
Yes.
Excellent. What would you say related to trucking? And I mean, I'm talking about being out on the road. What would you say your favorite memory is out there?
Favorite memory was probably team driving. We just getting to know Brian. Brian was really good, and you meet good people. But I remember, and I don't know if it still works the same today, but the brotherhood of truck driving. You get into a situation, you need help, and I just realized that other truck drivers are there, and they'll help you out. And that's something I would pass on to new drivers is don't be afraid to say you don't know something or you need help, because you make those friends. Now, one thing I did do, and I'll tell you really quick, was I picked up a hitchhiker going down to Shreveport, Louisiana, and I'm not saying do that.
Yeah, please don't.
But I picked this guy up, and my father had just passed away, and we talked all the way down there, and we got down there, and he got out of the truck, and he didn't have any money for food or anything, so I went and bought him a meal, and it started raining, and he actually sat in the passenger seat of my truck that night while I slept, and he said, you need to be careful. I was a young guy, and but my father, like I said, my father had passed away, and I gave him a pair of jeans and a blanket that my father had given to me, and he took my cell phone, and for 3 years in a row after giving him those, I had the same cell phone number. He called me to tell me that he still had the blanket and the pants.
Really?
And just to have touched somebody like that, and he appreciated it. It was just a blanket and pants, but he called and said, thank you, I've taken care of these things. So
what a great story. But not a good lesson for life as far as picking up the hitchhiker. But what an interesting twist of fates there and events. That's, I think, my favorite part about being or was my favorite part about being out on the road is those experiences, those oddball things that come up, and some of them are thrust upon you, and some are, you thrust yourself upon, as they happen.
He was an older guy. Something told me, he's all right, but you're right. Don't go picking up hitchhikers.
Yeah.
But
well, I was going to ask you, we also talk about our strengths and what we're good at. Is there anything you can say that you're not very good at?
Excel.
But
as far as the trucking industry goes, actually, I would say I'm pretty good at this point on most things, but I didn't start out that way. It took years and years of perfecting what I do and what I did, even as a driver and even moving into safety and training. But I wouldn't say I have a whole lot of weaknesses at this point, but that's not because they weren't weaknesses. It's because I had to try and
sharpened your skills over time. I think that's a great answer. What would you say, especially with us driving down the road, we're kind of accosted by all kinds of advertisements and everything. What would you say if you could have a billboard with anything on it? What would you put on that billboard?
I would say, and that's because of what I believe in, I would say, call me, I care. I'm the kind of person, I care what happens to others. I'm willing to go above and beyond in training others and giving them my experience. And I think the world needs more people, not that I'm a saint, but I like knowing people aren't afraid to reach out to me and gain from my experience and go forward, because something I've gained through training and safety is you can affect others around you, and you can affect their lives in a positive way, or you can affect it in a negative way. And I prefer to help others through whatever information I have and I can give them. So I would say, call me, I care.
I appreciate that. I would, I'm kind of reflecting on those things that you've overcome in life, the knowledge that you have today that you didn't have yesterday. Is there an item, is there something in your life now today that you're struggling with, that maybe you wouldn't even have attempted in the past, but are still struggling with today?
I'd say the hardest thing I'm facing right now, maybe it's not to deal with industry-wide, but maybe personal-wise, is the 6 kids I have. I'm facing now, like I said, I've got 2 grandchildren, but we're getting really close to facing that empty nest thing, my wife and I, and we've got a really good relationship, and she's backed me and everything, and I've backed her and hers. But what do you do once all 6 children have moved away, and we've given them everything we have? But I would say, professionally, not so much, but just learning how to move on with the next stage of life.
Yeah. Well, there's something to be said. I raised 4 boys, and there's something to be said for the silence that comes along with your household after that. But anyone who has boys or raises boys knows that, it's just loud from the time they get up until the time they go to sleep. Yes. That's just kind of how things are. That's the way that they're wired. But you kind of get a chance to remember who you met in the first place, when it comes full circle like that. Yes. So I can appreciate where you're coming from, and there's a little bit of trepidation that can come with that, as much as there is time to get back to dating and remembering again that person that you first met. What's your favorite restaurant? What's your favorite dish at your favorite restaurant, if you were going on a date?
I would say anywhere I can find perfectly made prime rib. A nice medium rare prime rib, a nice horseradish sauce, and I don't know if I can say this or not, but I like a good draft beer. So I don't drink a lot,
I think you can say
but
that.
When I sit down to have a steak, I like to have a beer. And prime rib is probably my favorite.
What about a to-go order?
My wife and I both enjoy pizza, all kinds of pizza, but I think having raised the number of kids we have, we've learned to love pizza, and pizza's always been quick, but a good pizza probably.
You can't ever go wrong, really, with a good pizza. You got anywhere you really enjoy going for that? What's your first choice?
Probably Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
Good, thick, nice pizza.
Yes.
Plenty of cheese.
Or the old Godfathers.
Okay. That's dating you a little bit, isn't it?
It is.
Godfather's was good pizza. They had the dessert pizza, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. We talked kind of a little bit about some new beginnings, potentially with an empty household and those types of things. I wonder, what are you curious about today?
Well, my wife and I have had to learn. We've put so much into our family that we've had to, like you said, we've had to learn each other. But we've started out by Saturdays have only been for us. So we want to travel more. We want to see more things that we haven't seen and done. We want to go. Probably the next 3-4 years, we're going to plan a trip to drive the entire United States and stop everywhere. And I've seen a lot with traveling, but I always have my wife saying, I've not been there, and I say I have, and so I want to go share those things with her and see her be surprised.
Sure.
And take all that in. But
what would be your top 3 stops on that journey? Where are the things you most want to take your wife to?
I want to see Yellowstone.
Okay.
I would like to go whale watching outside of the Sound in the Seattle area up that way, and we both like to go to Seattle, or not Seattle, but San Diego, and go to the zoo and some of those things.
Okay.
So
all right.
We like nature.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that, and there's plenty of it out there, so you might as well soak it up and enjoy it. We've had a year of enjoying nature.
Yes.
If you want to get out, you pretty much have to just go outside.
Well, we go to Gatlinburg about once a year, so
okay.
We like the mountains.
Sure. Sure. You looking forward to the mountains out west then on a trip like that, or
Yes.
is there some trepidation with having to handle the Rockies?
I've driven semi through it.
Yeah, so you've got some
she's
experience.
not been there, but I've been all over the country in a truck.
Yeah.
Now, the first time you do it,
yeah, a little bit of pucker factor there.
Little bit.
What would you say, Mark, at this time is the most important thing that you've learned in life? And, if you can take me through not only that, but what life was like before learning that, and then also what about afterwards?
I would say two things. Never give up. If you want something, go for it. It's not always easy, and not everything easy is worth having. But if you want something, work for it. Go for it. Don't take the word no. I know as a younger person, you tend to want things now. You want it quick. You want it fast, and it doesn't always come that way. But once you learn, you work for something and you achieve it, you learn to appreciate what you have. And there's nothing wrong with continuing to grow and wanting more. But if you just take, a little bit at a time, and never give up. Like I said, when I first learned to drive a truck, I was told, you'll never be able to drive a truck. You'll never be good at it. I couldn't back, those things. Several years later, I've got 1 million safe miles under my belt, and I'm a safety director.
Right.
So who would have thought it? I came from a background, I usually don't share it, but maybe you'll find it interesting. First 8 years of my life I spent in foster homes. And I was told, one of those kids, you'll never make it. You'll never achieve. That's not true. You want it, you go after it, you persevere, you put in the hard work, and then you deserve to enjoy your achievements. And
I think that people, as a general statement, when faced with adversity, especially at a younger age, or challenges, maybe not adversity, but challenges, and the brick walls get put up that you're not going to be able to, or you can't, or you won't. That's where, as an individual, you make a choice. You make the choice to either rise to the challenge on your own, or you fall into that I just can't do it. There's really only two paths there.
And surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with, no matter how old you get, surround yourself with mentors and people you can reach out to that have been there and done it. Positive people. And whenever you get ready to fall or you get ready to not make it, they'll pull you up or they'll tell you how to make it. And then don't forget to pass that on to those around you as well.
Yeah.
And you'll get great gratification from being able to share your experiences and help others. So
I think those are great words. I really do. What would you say the most interesting thing is about you that we would never learn from reading your resume?
I used to like skydiving. I've done that, and I've done rappelling out of helicopters and all that sort of thing, but I'm scared of heights. But
is it one of those things, as long as you're moving, you're fine?
As long as you're moving, or as long as you have that parachute or that rope attached to you, you're good. But a funny thing is, about 5-6 years ago, we were at Kings Island, and we went up in the tower, and my youngest son, he was about 13 at the time, and we got to go up and watch the fireworks, and they're all reaching out over the edge and watching the fire, and they're like, come on, Dad, come look. And I'm like, oh, I'm good. But you put me in that situation, with a parachute or the rappelling rope, I can do it. But to stand up in a tall building or tower, excuse me, there's just not a chance.
Get you queasy, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I completely get that. And actually, I'm built the same way when it comes to roller coasters or things in motion up high. Don't bother me at all. But man,
Right.
Put me out on a platform somewhere, and I just can't handle it at all. Anything you enjoy to do? I know we talked about a lot of different things that you've enjoyed over the years, but what do you like to do in your free time now?
Right now, I find myself, my wife and I like to go to parks and stuff, but we like to, actually now more often we go out and pick up, I have two grandchildren, they're twins, so we're 2 years old, and we pick them up and we take them, we enjoy those experiences as their eyes open. So, but we like the parks and walking the trails, and I enjoy walking. I walk quite a distance every day when I'm able, but I like to just get out and breathe in the fresh air and clear my mind and spend time with family and things like that.
Where's your favorite park to go to? What do you like around here?
I like the Riverside Park actually in Findlay, Ohio. We
Okay.
go out there a lot and just walk. And it actually was the place of my wife and I's first date.
Okay.
So we
So
go
it
back there and
has
reminisce
some special meaning.
And so, but we just go. We like to walk and talk. And
Sure. That's a good place to do some communicating. I know
Right.
my wife and I will go out for a walk, and that's about the best time to get things done.
Yes.
There's plenty of time to focus on whatever the issues of the day might be, or whatever challenges are coming up. So it's a constructive time to get a couple of things done, actually.
we also estate sale and stuff like that too. But we do some collecting of glass and different things. But we do that together.
Well, since you've joined the team, it's really only been a few weeks, and interested to hear, just kind of first impressions about the organization and what your thoughts are in total, as far as your experience thus far, not only with our staff here, but our drivers.
Well, I did a lot of examining before I took the position. Like I said, I wasn't unhappy at all where I was. But I saw the opportunity, and I knew a little bit about Garner, and I was really impressed with some of the articles I'd seen and some of the things I'd read, and so I thought, it'd be a great fit for me. But I've talked to some of the drivers, and most of them really seem to care about what's going on, and they're open, and I like it when the drivers reach out to me, and we get a chance to talk and introduce myself. But as far as the company itself, the people I've worked with, the teamwork's incredible. I've never been in a place where people want to help you out or you all work together for a common goal. And I like the feel here. I think the opportunity of being here is going to be really good. And I just look forward for what's to come. So hopefully I can make some improvements or help to make some improvements and make a difference in those around me as well.
That's the goal. We like to have a strong culture of safety here, and certainly we felt very good about the choice to bring you on board and continue our journey towards a very safe culture here. In your opinion, what would you say drives our organization?
Teamwork and commitment. Like I said, the teamwork here is just, I didn't even have to look for it. The teamwork's phenomenal. And having talked to the drivers, you can tell they're about safety. And I've been out in the yard a few times and seen people backing in, or even seen a driver who's having trouble backing in, and they're always open to suggestion or try this or try that. But I think if people realize, it's just not a position. I'm here to help those around me, and I'm here to be a team player, and I'm really, really about the drivers. I think drivers drive a company,
for sure.
Not to, but I just think the drivers are like one of the main important roles that you have. And so as long as I can make a difference for them while providing a safe culture, that's what I aim for.
Well, you said it very well, because at the end of the day, drivers are what make or break an organization. If you don't have drivers, first of all, then you don't have a trucking company
Right.
in the first place. And secondly, the decisions that they have to make and deal with, the stresses of being on the road, and it's an ongoing issue of safety all day long, every day, from the time that they start the clock to the time that they finish it and they're safe and parked, or if they're home for the weekend, or whatever the case may be. So it's really important that culture exists here, and I think we've established that over the years very well, and I think we do a great job of not only hiring but training good drivers and,
Yes.
and getting them out on the road. And so we really do look forward to what you can bring in terms of taking us to that next level and taking those next steps to really enhance what we do and provide those areas of coaching and development. That's a very exciting piece to us here at Garner. So it's been really a pleasure to talk with you today, Mark. I appreciate, again, you taking some time out. And for those of you listening, we appreciate you as well. This has been another edition of Beyond the Cab.